So, picking up right where we left off in our last lesson, we'll be caching out all of our different crowd systems, loading in our environment and our cameras that we had previously set up, setting up lights for it, and seeing how we can prepare our scene for render. So, first, let's take a scene import materials node and bring in all our materials from the agent template. I'll take a USD ROP node. I'll create a new folder called Final Caches and save our materials. Then I'll take a SOP crowd import node. I'll bring in my cam1 crowd motion paths node. I can duplicate the USD ROP and call it crowd motion paths. I'll do the same for my agent relationships with crowd motion paths as well. Finally, I can duplicate it one last time and call it Vellum on crowds. Let's set this to manual mode for now. I'll take a prune node and prune out the for vellum shape. Then I'll take a SOP import node and I'll bring in my cloth simulation. Again, I'll set the agent path attribute as a path attribute. And once you have it all correctly set up, we can select all of our USD ROPs and click on Save to Disk. So after saving it, let's bring each of our elements back. First, I'll bring in my buildings, then my cameras, next, I'll get in my materials. For each layer, I'll use a separate sublayer node. Then I'll start getting in my crowd systems, starting with the crowd motion paths. Next, I'll bring in my vellum simulation. So as you can see, all our foreground characters are coming in correctly and their cloth is being simulated using vellum. Then we can bring in our agent relationships with crowd motion paths. After you've gotten all the sublayers in, we can add in both of our attribute triangles for applying our crowd as well as our cloth materials. Let's add a dome light. I'll add an HDRI to it. Again, in the Karma tab, I'll set or create render light geometry to enabled. Let's view our background light. And get it positioned. Then I'll add an area light for our foreground characters so we can look through the light and see where we want our light to focus. Let's make it slightly warmer. And finally, I can add a distant light. Next, we can create our Karma setup nodes. I'll call my Karma node as render underscore final scene. I will be changing the resolution mode to manual and set it to 2048 by 1080. Let's change it to XPU parameters, and in the camera, I'll select my cam 1. Let's set the path. In the image output, in filters, I'll turn on NVIDIA Optics Denoiser. And in the USD render op, I can turn on the MPlay monitor. Now I'll select all my nodes and create a network box. And I'll add a label to it and call it camera 1. Similarly, I'll go ahead and create network boxes for all three of my cameras. So now we have network boxes for all three of our camera setup. We can view these one by one. Let's view our first camera angle. If you want, you can take a flip book of it and make sure that everything is working as expected before we go for a render. Our second camera has a much more heavier crowd. Sometimes, to optimize it, Houdini might not show the crowd agents in the viewport. So we can switch it to Karma XPU to view our characters. So right now, it's taking a lot of time to actually get these characters loaded and rendered. We can also view our third scene, which is slightly lighter. But still, as you can see, Solaris is struggling to get these rendered. So in the next lesson, we'll be using the new node in Houdini 20.5 called Houdini Crowd Procedural. This is used to optimize massive crowds in Solaris using some clever render time procedural instancing. So that's it for this lesson. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.